So let's, in this meditation, experiment with mastering transference of intelligence, in this case into universal consciousness. Very important. Maybe you can do it intuitively, without really knowing how you are doing it, which is okay, but when you know how to do it, there's a sense of much more empowerment in your intelligence and in your relationship with all these states of awakening. And that is also very important in the work with the heart. The same intelligence is entering the heart. So, in this meditation, keep your eyes open. Relax in your consciousness, in your head, and fall back towards the back of your head. You need to really feel how you are doing it. You cannot gather yourself in transference intelligence in the same way as in the personal intelligence. There's a different way of doing it. And there's an immediate element of surrender while you are transiting into transference intelligence. It's actually quite beautiful, if you can feel it. Unlike psychosomatic intelligence, this intelligence has a sense of subjectivity. You feel like it is you. Which is perhaps one of the reasons why beginners may have difficulty with activating it, because they do not have much subjectivity, or none at all. And you need to be one with it. Before that intelligence can be one with, say, universal consciousness, it has to be one with itself. And it feels itself, there's a feeling to it. Intelligence feels, not just things to which it relates, but it feels itself. That intelligence is self, after all. It has a dynamic quality, but it also has being, has subjectivity. So even if you have access to universal consciousness, you can retrace your steps and go back and feel how it is done. So then you can do it better. You move to the back of your head and then you stop and just be there. The reason why we speak of pure me, why the idea of pure me developed, is that pure me is giving that intelligence of transference, stability and subjectivity. Because at that point, initially, it does not have yet abiding place, this intelligence. Does not know really how to be, and pure me allows that intelligence to be. To give it subjectivity. So one of the mistakes students may make, or beginners, is that they try to feel back of the head somatically. Objectifying it, because somatic intelligence cannot embody anything and has no subjectivity. And then they try to concentrate at the back of the head, and not only it is useless, but it's frustrating. You need to be there with your subjectivity. And you gather your sense of subjectivity in that identity of pure me. Which is an etheric sense of identity and intelligence. That intelligence is also etheric. Actually very subtle. You are not really feeling subjectivity of transference intelligence in its movement. You feel its subjectivity when it actually lands in that space, that place where it's supposed to land. Like in your heart, for instance, or in universal consciousness. But because awakening of universal consciousness or realizing it is very challenging, so before it actually lands in universal, it lands in that newly developed identity of pure me, which is a transitory place in that movement of intelligence. So when you feel pure me, and I would like you really to feel pure me, as if for the first time, you are actually feeling that intelligence. Pure me is intelligence that has formed a certain state, certain center, certain energetic space, and that space of pure me has to be met clearly as pure subjectivity, as me. So if you see the things from that perspective, you perhaps can now, from a different place, understand deeper the concepts that we have been using in the past, such as meeting oneself, realizing it is me, embodying oneself, embodying pure me, it is that intelligence which is embodying its own subjectivity through that center it created. Now let's say that someone activated pure me, but is having hard time to embody it, and assuming it's really pure me, what it means is that we have created that energetic space, because there has to be an energetic anchor for intelligence. But there is still too much duality between that energetic space and intelligence itself. Which means that actually intelligence cannot embody itself through that energetic space. As that stage, the transitory stage of creating pure me has been completed or relatively completed, because there may be still some work with it later on. Then the next step is to move through the portal at the back into the universal consciousness. And it is very far for intelligence to enter, because it exists beyond our individuality, in the beyond. So it is a big thing to actually pass through that portal. And that intelligence, obviously, needs to be guided. Guidance is given to personal intelligence, but the understanding in the personal intelligence is being transferred into transference intelligence as well. So understanding is being transferred there too. Because that intelligence can understand, but it cannot think, cannot process concepts. Passing through the portal into universal is not just a matter of mastering transference intelligence. There is an energetic barrier that has to be dissolved between us and the universal. So there are these energetic challenges in our evolution where we have to break through our limitations. So the next step, intelligence from within that pure me it created has to self-absorb and somehow melt through that portal with the intention of going back horizontally, squeezing itself through that portal. And there's a way to do it, you need to feel it. It is all being transmitted, but still you need to feel it, otherwise it is not yours, and you cannot master your surrender. At that point, pure me is forgotten. Only what we call pure attention, which is a very, very fine sense of self, of that intelligence, moves into the space behind the head. And it is confusing because it does not know where to go or where to stop. That's why it needs to be guided. It stops where it's supposed to stop, where it reaches the limit of its surrender, naturally, which is not far behind the headspace. And then, because it cannot be there just through surrender, it has to, again, create a space in which it can be, which means that it has to recreate again pure me. But for pure me, for that center to stay there, not only intelligence needs to embody it, but it needs to have this constant intention to lean back, to fall back. That natural surrender towards the universal has to be kept. Or else it will go back to the inside of the head. Or those who have not stabilized it, it can be just forgotten. Here there's already a sense of freedom because you are in the universal. I still appreciate it. I appreciate the fact that you have entered universal consciousness and the fact that you move out of your head. Consciousness becomes liberated from its confinement in the headspace. At least, that is the first step. And really feel that intelligence. It's not just a function, not just an activity, it is self. Meet yourself as that intelligence.